Hey guys, this is Devin with Four Rivers Farm and Orion, my brother.
Hello.
We're standing in about an acre plot that we've been working on for the past week or so. I had a little bit of work already done here, but we've pretty much cleared and planted about half an acre's worth so far. I mean, not quite a whole half acre, but we're starting to develop this half of the acre. So we're gonna kind of go through and show what we've done, what future plans are, and whatnot. So this is the southwestmost point of the property here. This is very large black walnut tree. When we first got to the property here, there was all these branches, these large, I don't know, 10-inch branches hanging down there and there. And they were kind of frightening, so we cut those down and we've cleared this area of a lot of the honeysuckle. There's still a good bit left. We still have to completely clear this, and then we're gonna plant under here some different ribes family members and probably some mushroom logs and a lot of burdock. Seems to grow well in this environment. So we're gonna be doing that soon. If we walk this way, we're headed east now. To the south, there's a large hedge of honeysuckle, which long term would be great if we could remove. I mean, this especially goes about 20 feet in to the fence line. So there's a lot of space there that's not being utilized. So it'd be great to cut this and replace it with a productive hedge. Here we have, these are the 3 beds that I made before Orion got here. So this is planted out with mostly onions. There's peppers, strawberries, and cosmos, and some other wildflowers and sunchokes in here. Nothing's really popping yet. There are onions starting to emerge. Those are still pretty young. This bed here is very wet when it rains. The water actually like pools. So here we have planted several different kinds of willow trees, which I'm growing for coppice, for basket weaving. There's also wild elderberry cuttings there. So this is gonna kind of be more like a rooting bed. And over here is garlic that I planted back in, I think I planted this on like September 10th, 2023. It's doing pretty good. We pulled one the other day and it's definitely it's going to start cloving up soon. There's this round bed here with nothing planted in it and another one there in the works. Now here is 10 8-foot diameter beds, which are arranged in a hexagonal pattern. It's about 500 feet of growing space. So we put these in, we started working on these about a week ago. We got them finished. I don't know, Orion, what do you think, how long it took us to do this from start to finish?
Probably. I mean, just plotting out the circles took a couple hours, and then the tilling and adding all the straw took maybe 2 or 3 hours more.
Yeah, so maybe 5 hours total. What we did was, we ended up getting this first bed set. So we hammered a stick into the ground in the middle, and we used a 4-foot tape measure, and we went around and we put flags every couple of feet around. Then we went out in that direction 10 feet and did the same thing. So that gives us a 2-foot path. We then went out 10 feet from this one and from this one and did the same thing. So that was how we got the first triangle. And at some point we realized, well, Ryan, you can explain the measuring system.
Well, we were using this big floppy tape measure, and it was taking forever.
Yep.
So Devin had the idea to get a 4 and 10-foot stick.
Yep.
And just use that instead, because we only needed 4 and 10-foot measurements.
Yep.
And it was unbelievably quicker.
Yeah. So if you're going to do a layout like this, you only need a couple measurements. So just get something long to measure with. You just use a 10-foot stick, 4-foot stick, and that's way faster. We just went, we plotted the middle, and we just took that stick and just went around and marked the flags, and that was way faster. Then I used marking paint to just spray paint around the edge so that when I tilled, I wouldn't get the flags screwed up. And then we just covered with, we're gonna do a few different ways of covering this. Several of them, like this one and that one, are planted out with potatoes and onions, and it's just straw, a lot of straw on top of the soil. This one is an experiment. This is heavy cardboard and straw, and it was not tilled. So this is a no-till bed. And then these two over here are cardboard and a little bit of straw, but we need to get a lot more straw on those. And we're gonna plant through the cardboard. We have, and this one, a few pepper plants already planted through the cardboard. So yeah, that's the main growing space we currently have. There is to the east here an area which collects the majority of the water on the site. So all these orange flags are kind of marking out this area that a pond could potentially be dug. I don't see any water in it currently, but it does get quite wet. I mean, maybe 10 inches of water. So that would be an interesting future project. It's another second black walnut tree there, which produces fairly well. It's a lot of piles of brush, like here. I mean, I can't even explain how incredibly, like, dense this field was with trees before. This entire field was just like 15-foot tall black walnut trees, pretty much. So, like hundreds of them. So we've been chipping them, which is very time consuming. I had some chips here. But I think I'm honestly gonna just burn a lot of them because it's really, really time consuming. Here we have the orchard. So all these flags and piles of straw and wood chips are trees. Ryan, do you want to talk about that a little bit? How we marked that out?
Yeah, we use the same idea behind the same pattern behind the circle beds. So we just use the 10-foot stick. We plot out all the flags, and we have it going in a pattern so that we have red, orange, and green different flags for 3 different types of trees. And none of the trees are next to the same type of trees, so a red is never next to a red.
Yep.
And an apple is never next to an apple.
Yep.
That helps with the diversity.
Yep. So we have apple trees, nitrogen fixing trees, and then other trees, which are mostly pear trees. And we have a somewhat diverse planting in terms of their age too. So here's this is a really young planting. There's an apple tree there, Yupon holly, and then there's 3 or 4 comfrey root cuttings planted. Most of these are planted with comfrey. Well, maybe
I don't know if this one.
This one I did. This one I did.
Okay. Most of the big ones have comfrey.
Yep. So most of the big ones have comfrey. Show a few larger plantings. So this is a Wixon apple. There's 2 cayenne peppers planted there and there. There is a red lake currant and a fall gold raspberry. There's also comfrey. So that's a little bit bigger planting. And that's pretty much it. I mean, over here there's in this row we planted in mounds. So we dug a pit and then put a mound in. So if you look up pit and mound typography, it's like a naturally occurring typographical shape. I don't know what you call it in nature. Basically, if a tree falls, it leaves a pit, and where the root ball is, eventually it'll leave a mound. And we're just seeing how that affects the plantings. This is another apple with black currant and comfrey, and that's how these all are planted. So the idea is that this will catch water and it'll keep the tree, the pit will catch water and the mound will keep the tree's feet from being wet. We'll just see how it goes. It's an experiment. So I think we have 24 trees planted here. We'll see. The nitrogen fixing trees are really young, so they're all thornless honey locust trees. So here's one right there. The plan is to pollard them, and we'll talk about pollarding in a little bit when we show you the pollard that we did. But it's kind of it. We got a box elder tree here. There's 2 mulberries. Hopefully one's a female, and there's a black walnut tree which we're going to save, and hopefully that'll become one of the keystone species on the property here. Let's go look at the pollard. So this area is a little bit of a mess still because we just did it yesterday. Orion, you want to talk about the black locust pollard?
Yeah, so basically went through the whole black locust area and just debranched.
Yeah, this was really thick. Like this whole area you could not walk through.
Yeah.
It was just tons and tons. It was like literally almost as bad as this here area here.
Yeah.
You couldn't really walk through it. There was tons and tons of branches.
So we just spent like half an hour, 40 minutes just getting rid of every branch that could touch our heads. And once that was done, we went through and cut them at like 5 or 6 feet, right?
Yep,
And
about yeah. I mean about 5 foot. So like we'll probably pollard more, but basically a pollard is like when you take a tree, like this. These are all black locust, and you cut it above browse height. So this is about 5 feet. And so what will happen is, you know, the top section will start to resprout a whole bunch of shoots, and I'll end up pruning those. So each one of these will have 2 or 3 shoots that go up, and those will become, you know, large branches after a couple of years, and we'll repeatedly cut them for firewood or for pole wood or whatever. So that's something I am new in. I've never actually set up a pollard like this before, although it's pretty darn easy. There's almost nothing to it. But we'll see how that goes. We may end up pollarding more of these black locusts. There's quite a few more. Yep. So over here, this is also new to us. These are mushroom logs we inoculated with shiitake mushrooms. These are logs from the big black walnut that we cut over there. So once we're a little bit further in the season, this area should be pretty shaded with all these black locust trees. That should provide a good environment. We'll see. I don't know very much about this. I honestly ordered these inoculation plugs like the day before Ryan came, so I did virtually no research. Other than that, all the honeysuckle here needs to be cleared. I'm hoping over here to plant some woodland plants like blue cohosh and ginseng and golden seal and other cohoshes and the like. Probably pawpaws as well back there, thimbleberries. We'll see what else. Other than that, it's pretty much the site. Let's go take a look over here at the apple trees real quick that are already on the property, because this whole area used to be an apple orchard, I've heard. There's also a good opportunity to pollard here. So this is one of the original apple trees. It's fallen over, but it's still alive. It's blooming. Actually, I haven't seen the blossoms open yet, but they are open. So that's interesting. There's also this apple tree, which is about to be blooming, and this apple tree, which is quite large for an apple tree. All of them are very close to death. Like within the next 2 years, I think this one and this one will be on the ground. So the plan is to start cutting them back very heavily to stimulate suckering. There is several branches like this one, which is growing from the root ball. This one too. So hoping that we can start to fade this tree out, fade this growth out, and promote the new growth on all these trees to try to actually save the genetics. I don't know how old these trees are, but they could potentially be pretty good apples, so I'll try to save those. Thanks for watching, you guys. Let us know what you think about the property, anything you do differently, and we will be trying to update you as we develop it further. God bless you guys.